Hi, Jamie Pfeffer here, and in this video, you're going to learn 11 of the top gifts for empaths. So stay tuned. First off, if you're here, you might be wondering, what exactly is an empath? Well, when it comes to this channel and this list right here, an empath is very similar to a highly sensitive person. So that's somebody that experiences either sights or sounds or touches or smells very deeply. They also tend to have a very deep perception of things. But the difference between a highly sensitive person and an empath, for the purposes of this video, and I'm going to credit Dr. Judith Orloff, who has written a number of books on empaths. And she talks about the main difference between highly sensitive people, which are termed HSPs, and empaths, is that empaths also have intuitive abilities, or spiritual. So they may have the ability to not only feel things deeply, but they may also have the ability to communicate with animals, communicate with plants, not only feel other people's energy, but also absorb that energy and take on that pain for themselves. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about empaths here. And as an empath myself, I've been one my entire life. I've spent so much time over the past 10 years really learning about empaths and learning about my sensitivities. And I do consider myself an expert. I've done an exorbitant amount of research and my own lessons and just different types of work in things like codependency and without giving things away, assertiveness training, how to set boundaries, and different things like that. So I'm going to start off with the first gift idea that I think is incredibly powerful for empaths, and that is sage. So if you've never heard of sage before, which it's really become much more popular, I wanted to show you what a stick of sage actually looks like. So this is dried sage. This is actually like a super jumbo sage stick that I got from healingcrystals.com. And what you do is you just light it. What you do is you light it and then it lets off a smoke. And then you can what's called smudge the room. So you take the smoke and you go in the outer corners of the room. You can also smudge yourself, which is why I think that sage is so important, particularly for empathic individuals, because we are like sponges and we do naturally tap into other people's energy, and our energy fields tend to be very open or porous. It's really important that you're doing releasing work, and using sage is a great way to start that. And so if you don't want to have the smoke in your house, it doesn't smell like cigarette smoke or anything, but it is very smoky. And especially if you get like a jumbo stick like that, it's very strong. I know that one of my daughters really doesn't like the smell. So you can also get something called Palo Santo, which are little things of wood. Or you can try lemongrass. I'm not a huge fan of that. Or I'm sorry, sweetgrass. Sweetgrass, like a sweetgrass braid. I've tried that a couple times and it hasn't worked that well. It seems to go out very quickly. But the cool thing with sage is that there are a lot of companies, and I really like this one, Crystal Serenity, that create a sage spray. So it's giving you the same effect as the smoke, but it's really just in a spray, and you just kind of spray it around or spray it on yourself. This one is lavender and sage, or you can get a sage essential oil like this, and you can put that in a diffuser. And speaking of essential oils, the second top gift that I have for empaths are essential oils. And the ones that I really suggest for empaths, especially if you're just found out you're an empath, or, there's going to be a lot of products that I discuss here, so you don't have to get them all. I use essential oils daily. I use them for my chakras. I actually have like a baggie of things that I pick out for essential oils every day. And so there's a lot of different essential oils that you can use. For empaths, I highly recommend lemongrass, and that's what this is. Lemongrass is a really hot, it will really lift your vibration. Really any citrus type of oil or any citrus scent, if you're feeling down, grab yourself a lemon, grab yourself an orange, take a whiff of it. It will really help to raise your vibration. And because empaths soak up other people's energy and we are susceptible to catching that energy, especially if it's negative, if you keep this lemongrass with you, it will help you to raise your vibration and it can help you get other people's energies off of you. The other one that I suggest for empaths is rosemary. So rosemary is a great deterrent. So I like to use a couple of drops of this in the morning and I put it on my wrist like this. It's a great deterrent. You can also get dried rosemary and put it, in your house. And the other one I suggest is juniper berry. This is a really good oil for detoxing yourself. So that's a great one. And then I mentioned sage. There's a lot of other good ones though. Geranium's great. Orange is great because that's really for your sacral chakra. And a lot of empaths have an unbalanced sacral chakra. Speaking of the oils, if you're going to get the oils, another fantastic gift for empaths, and I'll call this number 3, is an essential oil diffuser. There are a ton of these available on the market. I really like this one. It's by Pure. And it gives you, I don't have it plugged in right this second. It was just plugged in, but I unplugged it. It can change colors. So it uses color and it goes through the spectrum of the rainbow. And then it also comes out the top. If you're not interested in the color, you can turn that off. And it also has an auto shut off so that when you run out of water, it stops. So I really, really like this one. You put in like 5 to 10 drops of the oil that you want. And even in the morning when you're sitting in your own space, your sacred space, this is a really great thing to add just to pump up your morning routine, to pump up your protection of yourself, and to make sure that you're grounding your energy properly. So that is that. And I'll keep this now where we can see it. And then you'll get to see how it works. Okay, so the essential oil diffuser was number 3. Now on to number 4. And speaking of the time that you spend by yourself every day, one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself is a sacred space. And I'll be talking more soon about how to find your sacred space, how you know where it is, how to keep people from disturbing it, even if you have children. I have 2 kids, so mine is actually one of the rooms in my house. And you'd be surprised, people, if you ask them not to go in certain places, they'll listen to you. And the other thing is, you're valuable and you have the right to have your own space. So speaking of that, the 5th item on my list is a ball of yarn. And I have this colored yarn here. You can get any color that speaks to you. You can get more than one color. This is a really inexpensive gift. Could be a stocking stuffer if it's Christmas time. But this is so essential. And I have to give a shout out to my friend and mentor, Rachel Schaffner. She's the one that told me about this. And what you do with this ball of yarn, you can kind of see a little bit in back from me, is you make a circle out of the yarn. And this circle really helps you as an empath. It helps you to have a solid boundary around you. And I worked with Rachel earlier this year and she taught me this principle, and this has helped me so much in my life in terms of having boundaries, because what happens is we become trained as empaths to not have any boundaries. We probably grew up in a household where people didn't have boundaries, or people were always stepping over our boundaries and there was a lot of enmeshment. So what you need to do is you need to retrain your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, in case you didn't know, is in charge of basically 95% of what you do, but you aren't aware of it. So you can try to reprogram your conscious mind by doing like mirror work and things like that. And all of that stuff is great, but your subconscious mind is really running a lot of the show. So you get this string or yarn or whatever it is that you want to use. I also oftentimes will double mine up by putting crystals around. So right now you can see half of my circle here and I've got just random crystals. These are just crystals that I've accumulated over time. But you want to get the yarn and you want to make a big enough circle for yourself that you put it all the way around. And I don't I usually tie like a real loose knot in the end, but this is so helpful for empathic people because we tend to have porous or malleable boundaries. So if you get anything on this list, I would suggest that it is this yarn, which is gift number 5. Okay, and this is working out so well because I'm able to transition so easily based on the words that I'm saying. My guides are really helping me today, so thank you so much, guides. And I mentioned mirror work. So number 6 on my list is a handheld mirror, and I think that you should get one that is bigger than just a compact mirror, but if that's all you can get, that's fine. But I think you should get something where you can actually see your entire face. And I find mirror work has been invaluable to me personally, and I know a lot of other people that it's really helped. Affirmations are fantastic. When you add it in the mirror, it like skyrockets your success. So here's another one. I got this from TJ Maxx. I will put a link down in the description for one on Amazon. And basically all you need to do is, if you're new to this concept, it might be a little bit daunting for you in the beginning, but I've been doing mirror work for 6 or 7 years. I do it every single day, and it's made a tremendous impact on my self-esteem, my confidence. It really helped me. You're stating your affirmations out there, but you're being your own loving parent as you do it. So if you have any trauma from your childhood, or if you had any difficulties in your childhood, mirror work is so awesome. I talk about this in my book, Uplift, and my course. And, you can start off really small with just looking at yourself every day in the mirror and saying, "Hi, Jamie," or "Hi, whatever your name is. I'm so happy to see you. It's so great to see you. I love you so much. Thank you for being with me." Or you can say loving statements, nurturing statements. I find that empaths are incredibly nurturing, loving people, especially to those around them. But a lot of times we have internalized critical voices from the people that raised us or were around us early in our childhood. And if you've been with me for any length of time, you know that I'm not about blaming those people. I really do believe that we all pick our path. We pick our parents, and we pick the people that are going to come into our life to help us grow. But that doesn't mean that we don't have to go back and deprogram and reprogram our minds to really start saying loving, kind things to ourselves. So that is why I made the mirror this gift. And speaking of saying loving and kind things to ourselves, the next item on the list are these amazing affirmation cards from Louise Hay. This comes from Louise Hay's I Can Do It deck. And if you want, you can pair these up with the mirror work. You can actually stand in front of a mirror. And if you have a big mirror in your house, in your bathroom, and you're comfortable, go for it. That's what I do. Sometimes, well, actually every day, I wake up much earlier than my spouse does. So I come into my meditation spot, which is this room, and I sit on the floor in my circle, which is made of the yarn, and I'll put this mirror over in front of me, and I'll prop it up against the couch so I can actually see my face in it. And as I'm noticing things coming up for me, and whether it's, doubts or fears or anxiety or worries about the day, I'll look at myself and I'll say, it's okay. It's okay for you to have these thoughts, and I would be scared too. I really do that loving inner parent for myself. And what you can do is you can just do your mirror work right there if you want. I mean, if you get up early enough. Or you can just start saying these cards to yourself. I also use these cards for feng shui in various parts of my house. So on this one it says, I deserve the best and I accept the best now. These are just awesome classic affirmations. At this very moment, enormous wealth and power are available to me. I choose to feel worthy and deserving. My workspace is a pleasure to be in. There's mutual respect among my coworkers. And it just goes on and on. I have a lot in here about jobs because this is part of my wealth area. I'm safe in all my relationships. I give and receive lots of love. Just different things like that. I think these run around $13 for the box. They're fantastic. They're really awesome for those days when you're feeling down or you just need a little pick-me-up. And oftentimes, if you're an empath, if you're a healer, if you're a giver, you're giving so much to other people, and the people around you, unfortunately, aren't anywhere near as intuitive as you are, and they don't know what you need. They don't know that you also need nurturing. So oftentimes, you've got to give that to yourself. So that's the Louise Hay deck. And speaking of nice things that you can do for yourself, the next gift on this list are these awesome sticky notes by the company It's All Good. This company has some really, really cute products. One of them is called Love Notes or Love Letters. I actually purchased some of those, and I'll put the link down below. I purchased some of those a couple years ago, and I would write myself a love letter on this notepad every single day. That if you have a really strong critical voice in your head, or if you're talking to yourself negatively, and a good way to figure this out is really how you feel. If you're crying a lot, if you're not feeling like you're measuring up, if you feel small, chances are good that you do have this type of critical voice or judge in your head, and it's just terrible. It's like, ugh. So the good thing is you can make moves to fight back against it and to reprogram yourself. And one way is by using these awesome notes. So if you are an empath and a giver, you'll probably use these for other people. I know I do with my kids. I'll fill them out, something that says awesome or you nailed it, or I'll leave it on my spouse's mirror. But the other thing that I do with these is I also make some for myself. So you can see at the top, because my biggest love language is words of affirmation. That just means the world to me when people say positive things or write positive things. And I realized instead of waiting for other people to do that for me, I need to do that for me. So oftentimes I will write myself one of these notes and then I'll stick it up somewhere. I used to have them in my drawers, like all over the place. It really depends. If I'm going through kind of a low spot, and I do have experiences like that where I feel sad or I feel sorrowful, especially as an empath, I have to do whatever it takes to pick myself back up, and I'm willing to do it. So I love these notes for that. Another thing that I do that I've done for a couple years that has really helped me, and I know it will help other empaths, is I write myself cards almost every single day, especially if I'm trying something new. Like I just got into doing these YouTube videos, and instead of waiting, because this is something I would do in the past, I would wait around for other people to give me validation. And then of course, nobody's worked on it like I have. Nobody's put in the effort like I have. I would wait around and I wouldn't get the validation, or I would not receive what I expected to receive. And I was giving my power away to these people by allowing their opinions to carry so much weight for me. So now I make the videos purely for myself. I mean, I do make them to give to other people, but I don't wait for other people's opinions. Yes, it feels great when I receive someone's opinion. I mean, it feels amazing. But if I receive a bad opinion, I'm not like, I haven't given my whole self away to it, and I'm not what am I trying to say? I'm not grading myself on this opinion that this one person happened to give me. So one of the ways I do that is I write myself cards, and I've used a lot of different cards. Sometimes I'll use thank you notes, and I'll just write myself little cards that'll say, "Dear Jamie, thank you so much for trying so hard at this," or whatever. These are just some different ones. So like here's one that says, "You're amazing." This one says, "You're the best." I have these all over my house. And I send them to myself. Sometimes I send them to myself in the regular mail. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it really has helped me. Here's one that says, "I love you." Because the truth is you really have to love yourself before anybody else can love you. And I was just watching something on Marilyn Monroe. So apparently she kept saying, "I just want people to love me. I just want people to love me." And like everybody loved her, but she didn't love herself. So she could never really feel that love. She was always trying to prove herself to other people. And I think there's a lot of people like that out there. And it's sad. It's like if you would just love yourself, then you can feel that. So these are one way that, like I said, my biggest love language is words of affirmation. So writing myself cards, giving myself notes. This one says, "You are wonderful." And they come with envelopes. So I really like these cards, and I will put the link below to these. Another thing that I've done that's really helped me as an empath, and another gift that I feel that's great for an empath, is this book. It's by Wendy L. Moss, PhD, and it's called Being Me, a kid's guide to boosting confidence and self-esteem. I've talked before about the fact that I use a lot of kids' products as an empath because they are very gentle. They're very gentle and they're very simplistic. And I find that they just really resonate with me. They resonate with my inner child. And that is the part of me that held a lot of the trauma, that really tried to hold up all of this weight when I was a little girl who came in and said, "Oh my gosh, nobody else is taking care of this. Here, I can take this on. Here, I'll take on your emotions. Let me help you feel better." Well, that little girl oftentimes will get what my friend Rachel calls exiled. She will get exiled. So I've found that kids' books like this are fantastic. This is a pretty quick read, but it just covers everything. Yeah, it's a little over 100 pages. It's written so well. It talks about exactly what confidence is, which is so helpful because I feel like a lot of people don't really know. Confidence isn't necessarily loving yourself and being conceited. Confidence, one of the best definitions that I've heard is that you know that you're going to be okay. You know that you can handle something. And that's like, takes a lot of weight off, I think, when you hear that. The book talks about like role playing, positive self-talk, PMA, which is positive mental attitude, laughing with yourself. It also talks about things like peer pressure. So while I did buy this for my kids and we have gone through it, I especially go through it with my one daughter who is empathic. She's the 7-year-old. I use it for myself all the time. It tells you, how to introduce yourself. And it's so funny because I read it and I was like, I know a lot of this stuff. I'm doing this. So I think that if you do read this and sometimes you feel alienated or like you're different, you're probably going to read this and be like, wow, I know a lot of this stuff already. I find that empaths, because we're so in tune with other energies and because we often want to get healthier, oftentimes we are seekers and we want to feel better. We want to feel better. We don't just want to keep banging our head against the wall with the same issues over and over again. At least the empaths that want to become more empowered in their life. You will see that it's normal and natural to want to be healthy. And I think that, at least for me, this has helped me with places in my life where I didn't feel like I could speak up, where I didn't feel like it was right, where I felt guilty about it, where sometimes I would have thought, well, they're the adults or they're the authority. They should know, shouldn't they? But oftentimes they don't know, and they're operating from a dysfunctional pattern. So that is why I love this Being Me book. On to our next item, and that is another product for kids, and it's the Cherub Angel Oracle Cards by Doreen Virtue. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I use these cards in a lot of my readings, and that is because they're so gentle. They're really gentle. And, if you're an empath and you don't have a lot of fire in you, like I don't have a lot of fire in me, it can really burn me when people come up and when they say unhealthy things, especially if I'm not protected, if I haven't protected my energy, or if I've I hate to say let my guard down, but if I'm just kind of like really open, it can come as a bit of a shock. So I will, here's a card that I just got. Beautiful. It's perfect. And the card I got is Sensitivity is a Gift. So speaking of gifts, if you are sensitive, one of the things that you can gift yourself that doesn't cost a thing is acceptance for your own sensitivity, because it is a gift. It is a psychic ability to be able to feel and read and sense energy, to be able to take that energy on, to process that energy for other people. You may be doing that and not even realize it. it's also a gift to give that energy back. So beautiful and awesome. So the next card that came out there was love and value yourself. And there is a nice little cat on here, and cats for me stand for strong intuition and also independence. So the last and final item, number 11 on the list, is something that is very near and dear to my heart, and it is my own SOAR animal reports. And when you get a SOAR report, you learn which animal was with you when you were born, which animal was with you in your youth, which also doubles as your inner child animal, which animal is with you or will be with you in your adult years, and then what your current animal is, and also what their guidance is for you. So I've noticed that shuffling the papers seems to be kind of loud, but I just wanted to show you some examples. So this was actually from my own report. So my own birth animal totem is the lion. And so I give the keywords of the lion are strength, power, courage, leadership, and confidence. And then you get a description of the lion. For me, my youth spirit animal and inner child animal, I couldn't think of the word, is the fox. So you receive this report. It's usually between 9 and 10 pages. It's $80, and I will put a link to that down below. And what I want to say about the SOAR reports is I love doing them. It's so amazing. I am a medium. I do communicate with animals, and I'm a psychic. So it's just a different way for me to do a reading for someone. My normal readings that are 15 and 30 minutes are $111 to $200. So if you're looking for a lot of bang for your buck, this Spirit Oracle Animal Report is really fabulous. I will say that I can only do so many because they're highly, highly customized. This isn't the type of thing where I'm going to a book or using Oracle animal cards and just copying and pasting what they already have. Every single report I do is customized to the person that it's for. And then the guidance you receive is basically like receiving a psychic reading for whatever it is that's going on in your life. So if you are interested in that, it's $80. And yes, I am plugging it. It is my channel. I've had people actually criticize me for plugging my own products on here. And the truth is that I am an entrepreneur, and I do have to receive some type of exchange, energy exchange, for the work that I do. So these are awesome. They would make an amazing holiday gift or birthday gift, or, you know, for someone you know, or for yourself. It's really important as an empath that you are giving to yourself and that you're replenishing yourself. So those are the SOAR reports, and all I need you to do if you get one of those is you can click on the link below, you can pay for it, and then you just need to tell me who it's for so that I can have the right name written on there. So those are my top 11 gifts for empaths at this moment in time. I do have an article that I did last year that is very similar, so you may want to check that out if you enjoyed this video. And before you go, please like and subscribe to the video if you're not a subscriber yet. Make sure you do that. And before you go, I would love to know which one of the 11 gifts that I talked about today would you most like to receive this holiday or for your birthday? Let me know in the comments below, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.